yourselves over to the arsenals, get loaded out. Private Selvey, take the team leader loadout, and Private Muller,
Alright,
take
good
a
afternoon, everybody.
rifleman loadout with an AT-4.
Copy.
Go ahead and follow me over. Are we still missing someone?
Stay firm, Sergeant.
Alright, stand by here.
Hey, Vertigo.
You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you.
What's up, Tasco? Alright, let's see if day one is finished loading. Hello, Liquid. Need a refresher because coming out of reserve's nice.
Cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you.
You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
Hey, Tasco with the 5 spot for the raffle. It will be mine. Well, good luck, Tasco. Alright, so we're gonna get through this, and then we will head to the normal day 2 stuff with patrolling fundamentals and so on, which is generally where I hand it over to Sergeant Myers, and then we'll get on to the maneuver part of it with fire maneuver and all that stuff. Don't blame it, it's still worth watching. I don't know about all that. Probably kind of fucking boring. Alright, Tasco, we'll talk to you later, bud. Alright, so we're just hanging out waiting for those guys to get geared up and get out here. Not quite sure what's taking him so long. Hey, Hoff.
Alright, get yourself so you can see everything out there to the from west through to east.
Alright, gentlemen. Today we're going to be going firstly over some of the formations that you're going to see here. Now, these are going to be the most commonly used formations. We're going to go over the pros and cons of each one. So the first thing I want you to do is look out there towards your left. You guys see my red box out there?
Affirm, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright, follow that red box. So the first formation we're going to be going over is the one that it's right next to. That is a fire team file. A fire team file has very good maneuverability and rate of movement, as well as good security to the flanks. Now, the downside of a fire team file is that it has poor security to the front and to the rear. Either one of you have a guess as to why it has poor security to the front and to the rear?
Because you are in a line, and if you start taking fire, all of you could possibly die.
Correct, but you're in a file. You're not in a line. File is vertical. Line is horizontal. But yes. Now, with this file that you see here, that you see demonstrated here, this is pretty much your minimum spacing in between soldiers. You're going to want 10 to 15 meters preferably. But your spacing is going to be dictated by your terrain. Okay, so if you're in a large open area like what this is, you're going to spread that spacing out farther. However, if you're in a confined area like a town or heavily vegetated forest or so on, you're going to close that spacing up. Essentially, rule of thumb is going to be you want to maintain as much distance as you can from each other while still maintaining visual contact to one another. At no point in time should any member of your team be out of visual range of you. All right, so again, spacing is going to be dictated by your terrain, but you want to keep it spread out as much as you possibly can for very simple reasons. All right, things like HE, any type of IDF, as well as when you're, especially in a formation like a file, you have to worry about something known as enfilading fire. All right, either one of you have any idea what enfilading fire is?
Would that be from the side?
No, enfilading fire is essentially when they're able to fire down your ranks. So say this file, enfilading fire would be coming from the direct front, meaning they can hit you all one after another. Now, if you were in a line, a horizontal formation, then it would be coming from the side. So they can hit you right down the line. All right, you guys tracking on that?
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. Now, moving on to the next one. And actually, before we move on to the next one, when it comes to a fire team file, as far as who goes where in the formation, first thing you need to understand is that a formation is very fluid. All right, it can change at any time. However, the kind of standard go-to makeup of a fire team file is going to be your fire team leader on point. Number 2 is going to be the automatic rifleman. Number 3 is going to be the grenadier. Last man is going to be the rifleman. Now, when it comes to areas of responsibility, point man is covering the front 180. He's got the big responsibility. Number 2 is either going to cover off to the 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock position, so either right or left. He's going to dictate where the number 3 man is looking. So if number 2 is covering 10 o'clock, then number 3 is covering 10 o'clock. Last man, the rifleman, is also going to be covering 2 o'clock while you're moving. Once you stop, for even the briefest second, that last man is going to turn around and cover your 6. All right, last man always has rear security. Now, that doesn't mean he runs through the fucking woods backwards. All right, he can look back over his shoulder every so often, make sure there's nothing back there, but he doesn't actually turn around and look to the rear until you stop moving. All right, that makes sense to you guys?
Affirm.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right, now moving on. The next one we're going to cover is the fire team wedge. A fire team wedge is probably the formation you're going to see the most, as it has the most cons with the least, or sorry, the most pros with the least amount of cons. So the fire team wedge has very good security to the front, rear, and to the flanks. Its only con being that it has a slower rate of movement than that of the fire team file. Right, so with the wedge, think of it essentially as a fire team file that is opened up. So you have your point man as the fire team leader. Off of either his 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock is going to be the grenadier. The grenadier is going to be on the weak side. All right, so the weak side is the side with one guy on it, with the grenadier on that side. Strong side is going to have the automatic rifleman, and then behind him is going to be the rifleman in the rear. So strong side is always going to have the automatic rifleman first, and then the rifleman behind that. Hence why it's strong side. There's 2 guys over there. However, again, keep in mind that the formations are fluid. All right, so whoever your best point man is going to be who you want on point. It doesn't matter if it's the team leader, grenadier, automatic rifleman, whatever. Whoever's the best guy to have up there on point, that's who you're going to put up there. It doesn't matter what weapon system they're carrying. Now, when it comes to being a good point man, all right, there's a couple of different traits that make a good point man. All right, simply someone that's able to read terrain, move you guys through terrain without being seen, being able to spot movement and enemies very quickly, stuff like that. All right. Again, being on point, they have the biggest responsibility because they're the ones that are essentially dictating how and where you're moving through terrain. All right, now moving on from the wedge, we'll go on to some squad formations. So follow the box, keep following it over to the right. First squad formation we're going to cover is the squad file. Squad file is very simple. It's 2 fire team files. However, in the center, you have your squad leader and your squad medic. All right, exact same setup. Point man is covering the front 180. Then you have the guys behind him alternating left and right, all the way down the file to the last man who will cover rear when you stop. Now, these are all movement formations. Right? That's something you're going to need to understand, is that there is a difference between movement and maneuver. All right, movement, or traveling as we like to call it, is when you're simply moving from point A to point B. All right, which is why we call it traveling. Maneuver is when you are maneuvering when engaged. All right, so once bullets start flying, you're no longer traveling, you're now maneuvering. That's where this next formation comes into play somewhat. So this next formation we're going to cover is the squad column. Squad column is the most commonly used squad formation, not only for traveling, but because it's very good for maneuver. So squad column generally will consist of fire team wedge up front. You have your squad leader and your medic in the center, and then you have your second fire team in the rear, either in a diamond, file, another mirrored wedge. It doesn't really matter. It can be in any number of formations. Now, the reason this is used so much when it comes to traveling and going into maneuver is because of something known as traveling overwatch. Right, so traveling overwatch is essentially where you take a traveling formation and you spread it out a little bit. So imagine this formation, however, this point team out here, they would be punched out 50 meters or so out in front of the squad leader and the squad medic here. And so imagine these guys about 50 meters out in front of where they are now. Traveling overwatch, that point team pushes out there farther so that when they get engaged, they can then push up and create a skirmish line. Right? So they can open the wings up to that wedge, create a straight horizontal line or a skirmish line, and lay down a base of fire. At that point, that trailing team now becomes the maneuver element. So these guys back here would then maneuver, say, around a flank here and flank the enemy. So they maneuver around them. Same goes in reverse. If this formation is hit from the rear, then that trailing fire team now gets online, provides a base of fire, and that point team is now the maneuver element, and they maneuver around the enemy. Alright, you guys tracking? Is that a yes that you're tracking? Because I didn't hear shit.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes,
All right.
Sergeant.
Next formation we're going to cover, over here. This is a squad line. Now, the squad line is essentially two mirrored fire team wedges. You have a strong left and a strong right wedge with the squad leader and the squad medic in the center. All right, very, very simple. Now, a squad line is different than a squad leader saying get online. Right? Understand, firstly, a column is a vertical formation. That's all it means. A column is a vertical formation. So you can have a squad column, platoon column, you can have a fucking company column if you wanted to. Wouldn't make any sense, but you can. But a line is a horizontal formation. So just like a file is a vertical formation, column is a vertical formation. Line is horizontal. Get in the habit of that. So squad line, two mirrored fire team wedges. However, if a squad leader says get online, what he's referring to is creating a skirmish line. All right, getting up shoulder to shoulder with each other and creating a skirmish line. Now you can also create a, I guess you would refer to it as a rolling line. You can essentially get shoulder to shoulder with each other and push your skirmish line forward. You continue moving. So if that squad line were to get engaged from the direct front, which is most likely, that's why you're in a squad line, because you're expecting to be engaged from the front. If that formation there is engaged from the front, then the squad leader can call, get online, and those guys in the center are going to push forward, and the guys on the wings are going to push forward to get online with the team leaders out there on point. So you now have a 10-man skirmish line moving forward shoulder to shoulder. Now, why that's important, it's actually something that one of our guys Learned in an operation not too long ago. It was actually one of our pilots. When you move shoulder to shoulder like that, as long as you stay in pace with each other, any target that presents itself in front of you can quickly and easily be engaged by everyone in that line. However, if someone in that line sees a target and stops and turns to engage, then there's a good chance they're going to engage a friendly, because everybody else hasn't stopped. They've continued moving. You push through the contact. So just keep that in line. If you're told, or keep that in mind. If you're told to get online and start pushing forward, if a target presents itself, don't stop. Continue moving forward with everyone else. All right, think of yourselves as a fucking bulldozer. Cannot stop moving. Now, when it comes to the squad column and the squad line, the last two formations we've gone over, the pros of the squad column are pretty simple. It has a fairly high rate of movement. It works very well for traveling Overwatch and the ability to practice fire and maneuver. Con being that that trailing team cannot do anything for that point team until they maneuver out from behind them. You can't engage from behind friendly lines. Alternatively, squad line has very, very good security to the front and to the rear, because, again, you're on line or on a line. But it has somewhat poor security to the flanks, only in the sense that if that formation is hit from the right flank, that team on the left can't do anything until they maneuver around that team on the right. And so there's pros and cons to every one of these formations. Now the next one we're going to be covering here, and this is actually part 1 of 2. So this formation is known as a staggered column. Okay, remember again, column is any vertical formation, so do not think of that as being horizontal just based upon the positioning of it to you. All right, imagine yourself standing behind that formation. It would be vertical. So staggered column is generally going to be used along a road, all right, when we're doing a road march. So you have one fire team on the left side of the road, one fire team on the right side of the road. Notice the spacing and notice how they are offset from the guys across the road from them, hence staggered column. All right. Now, in a staggered column, it's much like a fire team file, with the exception being that you don't have someone looking to your left or potentially your right, depending upon what side of the road you're on. So, if you're the team on this right side of the road, point man is still covering the front. However, number 2 man doesn't need to cover the left because he's got a team over there. He can't cover anything over there because he can't engage anything. He's got a team in his way. So he's going to cover to the right, as well as everybody else on the right side of the road is going to cover the right side of the road. The only exception to this being is if we're working in MOUT, all right, in a town, military operations on urban terrain. That's what MOUT stands for. So if we're in a town, in that situation, because we tend to move along the fronts of buildings, if this team on the left is moving along the front of a building, this team on the right is going to be covering to the left because they're covering the second story windows, rooftops, and shit like that of the buildings that this team on the left is moving along. All right, because obviously they can't see it. They're directly below it. And vice versa. The guys on the left here are covering atop the guys on the right. All right, you guys tracking?
A firm, First Sergeant.
All right. Now the other situations where we use the staggered column, if you look all the way back to the left there, when we work with the trucks, or when we take the gun trucks out, we do a convoy. If we are moving into a suspected hostile town and we're moving along the road, we're going to get out and do what we call walk the trucks in. All right, so we're going to get out, line up in a staggered column like you see there, and walk the vehicles into town. So we put the infantry good 50 meters or so out there in front of the truck and let them lead the vehicle in. Now you may think, why in the hell would you want to do that? The truck has armor we would be more protected in the truck. Well, I can understand that school of thought until you have 10 guys packed into a truck and go rolling into a town and some random ass bag in black pajamas pops out from around the corner with an RPG-7 and shoots that truck and now kills 10 guys because nobody was out there stopping that guy from shooting. Alternatively, you unload everybody but the driver and the gunner from the truck, push the infantry out 50 meters in front of it, and they act as now a sensor and a barrier for that vehicle, protecting it. So, when you come rolling into town and same set ass bag with an RPG-7 pops out from around the corner to shoot the truck, he gets shot in the fucking face with 5.56. Alright, makes sense?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright. Any questions on any of the formations that we have covered here?
Negative, First Sergeant.
No, First
Alright, outstanding. And what we're going to do now is we're going to head back up down the tower, head back over to the staging area real quick to get the next area ready. Sergeant Myers, go ahead and get these guys down the tower.
First Sergeant. Follow me.
Oh, hey, Donchmeyer. You've created a monster? Well, you have kids, don't you? So I'm pretty sure that statement would be true.
Yeah, go ahead and grab your radio.
Already got one. Sergeant.
Roger. And then take these minute just to grab a drink if you want.
Hey, killer.
Copy. Off comms, one mic.
Roger.
Alright, Sergeant Myers, you already told him to take 5 while we're waiting for this?
Yeah, you firm, First Sergeant.
Alright.
Grabbing an egg.
Alright, once this is finished loading up, Sergeant Myers, I'm going to be handing them off to you for patrolling fundamentals.
That.
Nice, Dunch. Have fun. Yeah, I couldn't get into it. Well, you should have been fucking faster.
Return.
Not my fault you were fucking slacking. Fuck a sprint key, you can fucking rappel right off that tower.
You guys got a couple more minutes for this to load back in.
What I did last night on fucking roof of that building, I went to start climbing down that ladder. I was like, wait, fuck this. Why am I climbing down a goddamn ladder? I can just fucking rappel off the building.
What's the radio frequency for today?
Stand by for now. I'll give it to you guys when we need it.
Copy.
Loaded up yet? Not completely. Getting there. Today is formations, patrolling fundamentals, movement, and maneuver. All the fun stuff.
Alright, Private Selby, you'll be teaming, so you'll be on frequency 100, that's gonna be squad net, and then the rest of you will be on 100.1.
Any station, this net. This is Private Moeller. Radio check on frequency 100.1. Over.
Guess I should probably get the radio set
Lima
up
Charlie
myself.
on 100.1. Over.
Sorry, Private Selby mentioned you need to be on both nets, so both 100 and 100.1, so have one of them as your alternative. It's up to you which one. I would always recommend having
This is Private Bollinger radio
your
check.
team net as your main,
100.1.
and
Over.
then squad net as your alternative.
Private Bollinger, this is Private Moeller. Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Solid copy. Out.
This is Private Selby. Any stations? Frequency 100. Over.
Alright, now, like we said yesterday, when you go up onto onto squad net, you don't.
That was fucking ugly.
So you'll refer to me as actual, and for this case, because there's only a couple of us, I'll refer to you as Alpha, and there'll only be Alpha because we will not have a Bravo today. Yeah. So on your team net, you can use names, but up on squad net, you refer to me as actual, and I refer to you as Alpha.
Copy.
Want to try that radio check again just for funsies there, Selby?
I'm expecting one.
Radio check. Any stations is frequency. This is Private Selby on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Selby, this is Private Moeller. Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Muller, this is Private Selby. Solid copy. Out. Actual, this is
Goddamn
Alpha.
thing takes too long
On
to load.
frequency 100. Radio check. Over.
Alpha, this is actual. I'm reading you Lima Charlie on frequency 100. Over.
Actual, this is Alpha. Solid copy. Out.
There you go.
Fucking takes you a minute to spit that out there. Jesus Christ.
Uses, you guys want to make sure you have everything, obviously, and earplug check is always a good shout. Make sure you have them in before we ever leave. I think I'll quickly show you guys is the formation you want it. So whenever we're in a training environment, there's a formation that you guys get into. If we're in a combat environment, you don't do this, but a training environment like we are now, Private Selvi, as the team lead, you'll be at the front, and then you'll have your team filing in behind you in the order of team lead, AR, Grenadier, Rifleman, I believe. And you'll be kneeling, nut to butt, like so. Go ahead and, yep, you. Right, well, I'll just pretend I'm the Grenadier, and then Rifleman. And then you would have, so yeah, nut to butt, and then you'd obviously have Bravo and you're at the sides, and that's pretty much, this is the formation you guys will get into every single time you're in a training environment. Alright, let's go ahead and take ourselves over to the formations. Oh, not the formation, sorry, the movement course. This one. Yep, take yourselves over to the movement course. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go over with you is the types of patrolling. Now, there are 5 different principles of a patrol. The first is the planning. So, if you go on a patrol, you always want to go out with a plan. But you need to remember that upon first contacts, plans will change according to the situation. Next is recon. You always want some form of recon. This can be done with your eyes, satellites, radios, maps can be done as well. In the unit, we normally have a drone up in the air, which is scouting out ahead of us. That's our version of recon. We also have our ports with our maps, shit like that. And you want to go in with some form of intelligence and recon. The next fundamental is security. You guys always want to be maintaining a 360 security. Helps keep situational awareness up, and it means that you aren't going to get surprised from a different direction. You're not going to have a squad roll up behind you because whoever was in the rear wasn't watching. Next is control. Always be in control of your elements. Meaning, if you guys aren't comfortable where you are, if you feel like you're in a vulnerable position, and that if you were to be engaged, you will be in a shitty spot, change it, bring it up, say something. And the next is common sense. Not everyone possesses this. However, you always want to be using your common sense. If you see a minefield over to your left, don't go over to the minefield. Shit like that. Okay. The first type of patrol is going to be reconnaissance patrol. And the first section of this is a zone recon. So this will be the reconnaissance of a zone. A zone is quite a wide area. An example of this would be go recon Washington DC. It is a big area. Which moves on to the next bit, which is an area recon, which is more of a specific location. So an example would be go recon the White House. It's a smaller position. Recon, and the third one is route recon. So this would be reconnaissance of an enemy and terrain of a route. So example is go recon the route from the White House to the Pentagon. This is something that you can look at on a map, plan it out, and know what to look for, and it's also a defined route. The next type of patrol is a combat patrol. The first type of this will be an attack. So an attacking patrol will be you're going to go in and occupy a certain position. For example, let's say there's a compound somewhere. An attack would be to move in, kill whoever was in it, do your shit, and then stay there. Your next would be a raid, which would be an attack with a planned withdrawal, meaning that you're going to get in there, do whatever you need to do, and then withdraw away. And the next would be an ambush. An ambush is a surprised attack on an enemy with a planned withdrawal. This is usually along roads or trails, so you're going to wait for a squad, maybe a patrolling squad, to get into a position, and then you're going to attack them, and then get out of dodge, so withdraw. Any questions on different types of patrols or anything I've just gone over?
Do you mind repeating the first combat patrol for me?
Yeah, firm. So the combat to the attack, an attacking patrol would be moving, so attacking a position, so for example a compound would be moving in, engaging whatever's in that compound, entering it, clearing it out, and then staying there. That is an attack. Very
Copy,
simple.
thank you.
I will PT you all until you fucking die!
The next thing I'm going to go over you guys is fire and maneuver, and this is what we use every day in the unit. The first kind of segment or type of fire and maneuver is the assault. So the assault element is there, and they provide rear security during your movements. So while you're moving, whoever is going to be the planned assault element will be always in the trail. And they act as a maneuver unit for the patrol. So let's say, for example, it's a full squad with Alpha and Bravo. Let's say that you're in a formation and Bravo is on the rear. That means that if we do get engaged, Alpha will be the one to set up a base of fire, and Bravo will be the maneuvering element, or the assaulting element. The next is the support. The support element provides a base of fire during the attacks.
God, is it bad if I tune out during my own class?
The assaulting element to maneuver and also maintain some form of covering fire. So going back to the last example, if we have Bravo as the trailing element, Alpha will be the support element, meaning that when Bravo want to maneuver onto a position, Alpha will be there to cover their movement. And the next is the security element. So the security element provides security for the patrol. They cordon the objective, allowing no one to enter and no one to leave, meaning that this works better with two squads. So let's say a squad enters a compound and they occupy it and they've cleared it out. The security element will be maybe a little bit off, a couple hundred meters on an elevated position, and they'll be watching, ensuring that no one enters the compound, no enemies enter, no enemies leave while they're clearing it out, so no one gets out. Any questions?
No, Sergeant.
Negative,
Okay.
Sergeant.
Now, the next is your methods of movement. The first method is bounding in Overwatch. Bounding in Overwatch is used to cover ground pretty quickly, and it still provides a decent level of protection. Bounding in Overwatch allows covering units to fire if a target pops up. The only issue with this is if you have, say, Alpha covering and Bravo maneuvering. If someone in Bravo isn't looking at where they're running and they run in front of someone who's covering fire, you can end up running into friendly bullets. Alternatively, if someone pops up and you're in the way, the covering element either has to fire right next to you or pretty much fire into you to drop that target.
Yeah, looking around on the forums.
Something else we use here is the 3-second pass if you're in open terrain meaning what we're pretty much standing in here now, an open field with not a whole lot of cover.
Damn it, Myers, it's a fucking 3-second rush.
If you're moving through open terrain and you see an enemy, the phrase we use is, "I'm up, he sees me, I'm down." What that basically means is that phrase takes you 3 seconds to say, meaning that it takes a average person 3 seconds to accurately engage a target. So if you're running through a field and you see an enemy, you will say, "I'm up, he sees me, he's looking at you," and you get down your belt buckle. Because if he's not had more than 3 seconds to kind of look at you, he won't really be able to accurately engage you because he won't know where the fuck you are. Hopefully. So yeah, that's what we use. The next method is alternating bounding. Alternating bounding is a faster way to move, but it's less safe. Thinking of it as a leapfrog movement, each element moves past each other, so Alpha will move up 10 meters, Bravo will move up, 15, 20, so on and so forth. You guys
Hey,
don't
Cope.
end up
How's it
in
going,
line with
brother?
each other, you just kind of
Doing
move
pretty
like
good.
It's like walking. One will always be behind the other. The next is successive bounding. This is a little bit slower, but it's a lot safer. Each element essentially plays catch up, so the element that moves first is never moved past. All other elements have to stop at their position or hold the line of a bounding point. So this is where Alpha will move up 20 meters, and then Bravo will move up 20 meters, and so on and so forth. You'll always end up in line with each other. The next method is peeling. Peeling is used to disengage from contact and move towards cover while providing returning fire. And we'll go over this a little bit later so you guys can see it visually. But when you are peeling, you want to verbalize moving.
Tired as fuck. Better be taking a nap, motherfucker. You got an operation tonight.
What set means is that you are stationary and you are ready to provide covering fire.
Actually, you're gonna be seeing me in AA run. I think we're filling in with 2-1
the
tonight.
fire team leader, the squad leader, can continue on the mission after you've successfully peeled. Peeling is a good way of moving laterally, so to the left and to the right instead of up and down. It's a good way to go off in a very specific direction while providing fire to the front. The next is breaking contact. So breaking contact is when the overwatch, bounding overwatch, and peel can all be used to break contact. So you can bounding overwatch out of contact, you can peel to break contact.
I will PT you all until you
It's
fucking
basically
die.
it's what it is. Sorry, it sounds as if what it is. It's you breaking contact.
Jing, thank
going
you for the
somewhere else,
follow.
either getting
And
closer or
Foxcroft,
getting
thank you
fire.
as well.
You will continue to put guns on target, otherwise a disengage can become a route. So what that means is, while you're breaking contact, you always want to make sure that whoever is moving, you want to keep them covered. And then while you're moving, they will
Right, as long as I ain't gotta carry your slobbering ass fucking out of a firefight somewhere because you're fucking brain dead.
It's really important if you get called to break contact and not to
Even though
just,
if you were,
know,
I'd carry
cease
you out.
fire, turn around and run, because if they're still firing
Actually,
at
I'd probably
you,
make
you
AA Ron carry you,
do it
just so,
properly.
you know,
You're
his
gonna
big
keep
ass
friends
gets
going
shot,
while he
and then
moves.
I'd return fire.
And the next method is a squad and fire team rushes. I hope in most situations this doesn't have to be done because it's quite risky, but this is where the movements are in much longer distances than bounding, and this would be a fire team, so Alpha providing cover while Bravo makes an 100-meter rush to a wall of a compound. This is only really used if there's no solid cover or even, no cover at all between you and a compound wall, and there's just a big 100-meter field gap. And the only option is to just fucking rush across that field as quick as you can with cover and get
Get a
that
steel
compound
plate in your
wall.
head after last night? Shit, after the fucking
It's risky,
firefights I've been in here,
but
I'm pretty
it
much the
sometimes
bionic
is,
fucking man.
necessary. Any questions at all?
Negative, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Alright. Next, we're gonna go over cover and concealment. So previously I've been mentioning cover, concealment, and shit like that, solid cover, and this is what they all mean. So, effective cover is a pretty important part of keeping you guys out of harm's way when under contact. Cover should always be utilised, and especially hard cover. So, anyone take a guess of what hard cover is?
Rocks, walls, anything that
Definitely.
can stop a bullet.
Yep, essentially. So,
Where they
trees,
passed
walls, defilades.
flyers around with your face on it. Well, if you go look at the newsroom, they actually did pass around flyers with my face on it.
So while hard cover is effective against small arms, it's usually not effective.
Yeah,
against,
Cope, get your ass in here.
shell or an anti-tank. Rockets and grenades.
Grab a grenadier loadout from the supply area, and then teleport out here to the movement course.
Top of it, you should be fine. Next is concealment, and concealment allows to hide yourself, but it doesn't protect you from anything. So a bush, for example, or smoke cover.
I have
So
only
you can always
KIA'd
cover large
twice.
areas, that you may need to cross. Concealment.
Once during Red Hammer and once during Righteous Eagle.
In a field or moving in a tree line, you always want to move in a tree line because it is going to provide you some form of concealment. It's going to make you a little.
Or no,
more
sorry,
visible.
3 times. Twice during Red Hammer and once during Red Eagle. Red Hammer 215 and 815.
Definitely, it's really
And then
important
Red
to have
Eagle,
the
I
cover
don't,
used
or
in most
Righteous
instances.
Eagle, I don't remember which one it was.
It
But it was when they
cover in front of you
fucking
and above you.
landed a helicopter on my
Basically,
head trying to
you're
reinsert.
on a slope
I
or
almost
ditch.
fucking died again.
You can hide in there. You are pretty much covered from direct fire, but not indirect fire, so it's not gonna protect you from mortars. It also can conceal you from the air, pretty much until a unit is directly on top of you. So Deflade will conceal you all the way until that whoever is
Oh,
looking
welcome
for
back,
you
Adams.
is right up on top of you. Is moved over your section of Deflade and moved over that hilltop. The next thing you want to go over is
Yeah, I've
sky.
never been captured. That's for damn
Skywalking,
sure.
that's standing on top of a hill and having the sky as your background instead of the hill. You essentially it's called silhouetting, and it can be done day and night. At night, if the sky is black, it's not too bad, but still you don't want to do it because the sky is never fully black. It always has a slight tint to it, and there's sometimes unnatural light which will highlight the fuck out of you, or even the moonlight will highlight the fuck out of you. So, but yeah, especially at daytime, your silhouette, you're really easy to spot. A person standing on top of a hill is a big feature. If for whatever reason you do need to crest over that hill, do it prone. Proning, you're the smaller target, you're a lot harder to see. You want to prone, crawl up, look over, see what find out what you're looking at, get the intel you need, and then crawl back down. Alright, any questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Okay. The next thing before we move on to this try run is team communication. Really quickly, I'm going to take you guys over a ACE report. So we use ACE reports usually when we take, usually after an engagement or where we have a little bit, a couple minutes of quiet. Just after a heavy engagement, this is when I'll call one, especially in my squad. ACE stands for ammunition, casualties, equipment. Equipment more specifically is down to your AT4. So your,
Squirrel out the AK,
your
the
AT
rest of
capability.
those is like controlling. Oh, I don't ever
What that basically means is he wants
like
to know
count
how
the
much
squirrel ops
ammunition you
as
have, what casualties are going
shit like
on,
that. It's not
and
official operations.
the
That's just
equipment
shit we
you
do for
use.
fun.
So let's say within an engagement you may have used your AT4. You need to call that up. You can. I wouldn't say wait for an ACE report. If you use it, say it immediately. But if an ACE report gets asked, you need to make sure that they know, even again, that hey, we don't have AT anymore. The reports taken by your team leaders, they're sent up to a squad leader, and then from me, as a squad leader perspective, I'll send them up to platoon, and that gives the platoon a good idea of if we need to resupply or not in ammunition, how we're doing medically wise, etc. The next one is a target identification. In the unit, we use you can use the ADRAC reports, the ANARAC reports. We use the 3Ds, which is distance, direction, and
Yeah,
description.
fun in quotes.
So the distance being how far away whatever you're looking at is. Direction would be a compass bearing, or it could be southwest, north, east, etc. And description is
I mean, the squirrel
describing
ops
what it
are
is.
just
So
like
if
any
it's
other
a
mission.
guy with
I
an
mean, there's
AK,
some that
if it's a
fucking
civilian,
suck, and then there's
what it
other
is.
ones that are just awesome.
And real quick, we'll go over the difference between contacts, movements, civilians, and friendlies. So, contact is someone who is engaging you. It's an enemy combatant that poses an immediate threat. Movement is movement by an unknown person that possesses a possible threat, so it could be a foot patrol a little bit off that you're seeing moving around. Civilian is just a dude with shorts and flip-flops. Is a civilian, doesn't pose a threat, and a friendly is a friendly unit. I'll remind you guys that there is no such thing as a civilian contact. It is one or another. If a civilian has a Kalashnikov, assault rifle, or fucking RPG, he is not a civilian. He will be. He is most likely a combatant. Now, in previous deployments in the 506, we have come across civilians who are allowed to carry personal, weapons. They may be farmers, maybe hunting rifles, etc. They're allowed to. However, if you see a guy dressed in civilian clothes with an RPG on his back, he sure as shit is not protecting his flock of sheep with an RPG. So know the difference. So going back to the 3Ds, so you could say, I see a civilian at about 50 meters away, west. That's absolutely fine. That's enough information to run up to your squad leader to then your squad leader will be able to see it and then run it up to platoon all the way up the chain. Any questions?
So,
Sorry, go ahead, Selby.
no, you started. Go ahead, Noah.
So contact is used only when we are actively being engaged by enemy combatants, and any other time it's more like IC or eyes on.
Yeah, so a contact is you're being engaged, right? So you're firing at him, he's firing back, that is a contact. And they pose an immediate threat. If you see a squad of guys patrolling, that would be, I have movement or I see a patrol. It's unknown right now if they're going to be engaging us, but they are going to be posing a threat soon. Private Selby, send the question.
My question is in the description, are there ever instances of interest in the type of weapon that that individual is carrying.
Yeah. So, target priority. So if you see a guy with a RPG on his shoulder and a guy shouldering an AK, you want to drop the guy with the RPG first. So you always want to see, if someone's pointing an RPG at you, make it very clear that he is pointing an RPG at you. That poses a bigger threat than an AK. Another thing, we look at the unit. If you see a guy with an Igla on his shoulder, he is obviously a priority target. He poses an immediate threat to any air assets in the AO. So, see anyone with manpads, anything like that, you want to drop them first. They are priority targets.
Thank you, Sergeant.
You would also place marksman higher on that list as well, wouldn't you?
Depending on where he is, if he's up in a minuet tower in an elevated position and he's, firing rounds at you guys, drop him as quick as you fucking can. Marksman can absolutely tear a squad of task force up. They can provide a lot of annoyance, especially if we don't know where they are.
Copy. Thank you, Sergeant.
All right, very quickly. As Sergeant Myers was saying, when it comes to contact, that's when you're actively engaged with a target. As far as spotting something that is not engaging you, that you are not engaging, it's not an immediate threat, it's just simple as that, spot. Alright, so you can simply say spot, foot mobiles, squad size element moving such and such direction. Or, as you said, eyes on, foot mobiles, squad size element moving such and such direction. Or even if you don't know what they are, then simply eyes on 5 mams moving such and such direction. Mams meaning military age males. You have no idea if they're enemy, friendly, civilian, whatever. You just know that you've seen 5 guys walking in a direction. Or whatever number of guys. That being said, as Sergeant Myers also told you, there is no such thing as a civilian contact. And that's something that, in my time here, I have heard guys call multiple times. It does not fucking exist. They're either a civilian or they're a contact. There is no fucking gray area there. Civilians can be armed. It's perfectly fine. As you were told, fucking sheep farmers don't use RPGs to fucking kill wolves. Alright, so use your common sense. That being said, there is something known as an escalation of force. Alright? When dealing with civilians, especially armed civilians, escalation of force is very important, right? In actuality, there's 6 S's, but we drop it down to 5 because we can't actually shove someone. So, there's shout, show, shoot, shoot, shoot. Alright? So, shout, you yell verbal orders at that person to comply with whatever it is you're telling them to do. You continue shouting those verbal orders at them until they comply. If they do not comply, you then show. Essentially, you raise your weapon and show them that you are prepared to defend yourself. If at that point they still do not comply, then you fire a warning shot. Warning shot consists of a single round in the ground a couple feet away from them. Alright? Do not fire into the air. Fire it into the ground next to their feet. Next, shoot is a disabling shot. However, this only goes towards vehicles. Alright, you disable a vehicle. You disable a vehicle by taking out its tires. You do not shoot the fucking engine block, especially if you're sitting in the fucking gunner's nest of a 50 cal. Do not hit the engine block or the vehicle outside of the tires. You try and take out the fucking engine, there's a good chance it's going to punch right through the engine compartment and kill the people inside. So you take out the tires. Next. And as I said, that's only for vehicles. We do not fire a disabling shot on foot mobiles. That is fucking big time no-no. U.S. fucking military, if you shoot at someone, it's because you're shooting to kill. That simple. We do not fire wounding shots. And that's what the last shoot is. Shoot to kill. If they still continue to fail to comply with verbal orders, then you shoot to kill. Alright, you have to remember that ultimately your job is to protect yourself and friendly members of your element. This also goes along with something known as a declaration of hostile intent. Either of you ever heard that term before?
Negative, First Sergeant.
No, First Sergeant.
Alright. Declaration of hostile intent works like this. Say you're set up in a blocking position, in a roadblock, or you have a civilian vehicle approach your roadblock. Vehicle stops, the person gets out, they are armed. However, that weapon is pointed at the ground, or on their back, whatever. It's perfectly fine. However, if that person starts making verbal threats that he is going to kill American soldiers, that is a declaration of hostile intent. You're cleared to drop him. Alright, even a verbal threat is enough. That's a good shoot. If that person is armed and they raise their weapon towards you or towards a friendly element, that is a declaration of hostile intent. Drop them. They do not have to actually open fire on you. If they point at you or friendlies, you're cleared to drop them. The last thing I'm going to go over is the ridiculous misconception that the United States military will not fire on a holy building. I can tell you from personal experience that is absolutely 100% fucking wrong. Holy buildings mean dick all when they're occupied by the enemy. It is no longer a holy building. It is an enemy-seized structure. So, with the example that Sergeant Myers gave earlier about a marksman being in a minaret tower, that minaret tower is no longer any type of religious building. Again, that's an enemy-seized structure now. So, we will do whatever needs to be done to eliminate that threat. All the way up to and including dropping a 500-pound fucking bomb on it, if that's what needs to be done. Alright, so it doesn't matter if they're in a minaret tower, a fucking synagogue, a mosque, whatever. It means dick all. If there's enemies there, they occupy that structure, we do what needs to be done to protect ourselves and other friendly forces. Is that understood?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Alright, Sergeant Myers, carry on.
Thank you, First Sergeant. Right. Going back over different types of reports, we can also use a salute report. Salute standing for size, activity, location, unit, type, and equipment. It's a lot more detailed. We don't really.
Alright.
The main one I want.
Yeah, Dragon. What AA around there said.
They are probably the most important ones.
And Stinger, thank you for the follow.
Next, really quickly, a good point that still some people fail to do in this unit.
And Adams, to answer your question from earlier, the blue markers are to mark out where friendly units are, so guys can see exactly where they're placed at, just in case for some reason the fucking OCP decides to actually work.
You know, Alpha Team Lead to do something. You need to echo that order all the way down the chain, all the way down to your rifleman. Everyone needs to know what's going on. It just maintains great situational awareness. It lets everyone know what's going on.
And thank you, Dragon. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Remember,
Do this every weekend.
Your fire team will not be on squad net. They can't hear what I'm saying, so you need to be able to relay that information. Next is verbalize actions.
And like AA Ron said, this is just training. This isn't actual operations or anything like that. This is just training some new guys.
Basically, if you're
the blue markers are AI. They're all pre-placed down. And thank you for the follow there, Dragon.
So especially if you guys are kind of close to each other and you're firing at something, call when you're reloading. Because in the heat of a firefight, a lot of people tunnel vision, and you kind of just the whole battle buddy system. You kind of
yeah. So I'll kind of run this down for you guys, so Myers can focus on that stuff. So these guys here are marking out how to set up a proper danger crossing to go across a road, and then these guys up here are demonstrating what a proper long halt posture would look like, even though you would be spread out more, but this is just so everybody can kind of see it in one frame. Yeah, so you have a long halt posture here, and then once they go over this, then they go on their own little foot patrol, kind of down through defilade here, and move up and set up their own danger crossing here. And then from this danger crossing, you can see all these red arrows and stuff. These red arrows are kind of pointing out areas that these guys need to pay attention to when they're setting up security on a danger crossing, so they know essentially what a hide is. So areas of interest that they need to keep an eye on while they're holding security.
Designated danger area. In this example, it is a road. In most examples, it's normally a road. It can be a river, possibly, but most of the time it'll be a road.
Hey, Murph.
And what you're seeing here is a fire team set up security.
Can't wait for Christmas time. Get to hear about the raffle winner. Yeah. Little bit longer.
Security. Near side meaning they are nearest to whatever side the danger crossing was initiated at. Those two guys on the other side of the road, they are another buddy team. They are the far side security. Far side meaning that they were covering the further side in relevance to where it was initiated. Now, when you're setting this up, you'll hear your squad leader, call for a danger crossing here. Whoever is the leading element, so for example, let's just say Alpha was in front of Bravo in this case. Alpha will be the
Yeah, it bothers me more so that the team leader and the AR are on separate sides of the road.
Bravo has all moved through. Then the Alpha, the
Like it's got the two buddy teams across from each other rather than on the same side of the road.
Once you guys do it a couple times, it becomes really snappy. So the first pretty much step is for your near side security to clear out anything near side, so anything that could be a danger area. They're going to cover it, they're going to clear it out, and then they're going to set. Once they're set, they're going to call on the radio, near side set. If you do far side, guys, you're going to follow me over here. Would then cross the road over to the far side and set their security, like you can see here. Now, can any of you guys take a stab at what these pieces
Got a bunch of stuff I knew I'd be getting at the same time. Nice.
they set security? You look, for any
Still waiting on my new goddamn, or the other half of my new desk to get here. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. It's only been 2 weeks since I fucking ordered it, since goddamn FedEx damaged the other half of the package in shipping.
easily a big
So I had to wait for them to send it all the way fucking back to Missouri, and then have them turn around and send it back to me. Fucking gigantic pain in the ass.
where an enemy could possibly be. They can use it as
So I've been sitting here with half a goddamn desk for a week.
next. Yes, stand by 1 second. Yeah. So you would cross and you would clear out hides. So that rock wall, it could be a little building, a little shitty outhouse. You want to make sure it's clear before you get there and set, because
What are you talking about? The AR's got a backpack.
they can absolutely nail whoever's moving across the danger crossing.
Right there. That same fucking backpack that we carry.
Yep. Once your far side security set, again, you always want to verbalize, call it on the radio.
Rifleman doesn't have a backpack.
And then it will let your team leader know to call up to squadnet saying danger.
Oh
crossing
yeah,
set.
and listen to this, dude.
Team
This is the
leader
best
knows
part.
everyone
So
can move across and they're going to be covered.
I ordered it on, what was it, the 9th or the 10th? It was a Monday. Actually, it would have been the, yeah, it would have been the 9th because it was my dad's birthday.
But you always want to be
Ordered it,
conscious if you
and
set
it was supposed to be
danger
here
crossing for a
that following
security,
Friday.
gun trucks,
Alright,
etc.
so
Gun
that
trucks
following
make it a little
Friday,
bit bigger. It also depends
one
on
half
the
shows up,
round
and the
trip
other
you
half
do.
is marked on with the tracking shit that it had to be
That's a pretty
returned
good sized gap, but if you're moving
to
across,
the
gun trucks,
FedEx
etc., you
place.
wanna make it a little bit wider.
And no reason as to why. Just said
The last
acceptment to shipping or acceptment to deliver or some shit like that.
all the way across.
So
Whoever the last person is to cross, you want to call last man.
they didn't say anything about it.
Near
So
side
then it never
These
comes.
guys
So I have to call
cross,
fucking FedEx on Monday and was like, hey, what the fuck is going on with my package? Like, it hasn't been delivered. All it says is there's an exception
near side element
to
crosses,
delivery.
to call last
They're
man
like,
again.
oh, well, the driver's seen that the package was damaged and was torn partway open and didn't want to deliver it as they feared there may be parts missing. Like, okay, well, as the fucking receiving party, I should probably be made aware that, my shit's not being delivered and this is why. And they're like, well, we're going to have to send it back to the shipper, but we won't have any information or be able to do any of that until after today, because the FedEx facility where your package is at isn't open on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, so they won't be able to do anything with it and get the label and everything created to send it back until tomorrow. He's like, but I can keep track of it and let you know when it gets back to the shipper, and you'll have to contact the shipper and get a new one ordered or get a get a refund or get a replacement ordered. So I'm like, wait a minute. So you guys fuck up and damage my fucking package and shipping, and you're not even going to contact the fucking shipper and get a replacement sent to me. You're just like, well, I can track it and let you know when it gets back to the shipper. Bitch, I can do that with the fucking tracking number. Like, how fucking useless can you be? Like, you guys are paid to ship a product from person A to person B, and you fuck up and just send it back to person A and don't say shit to anyone. Like, what the fuck? So then I had to fucking contact the shipper myself and tell him, yeah, FedEx fucked up my package. I need you guys to send me a new one. And they said, well, we can definitely send you a replacement, but we have to wait for, the original to get back here. So then I had to wait until fucking FedEx got off their ass and finally got it back to Missouri. And now they, sent out the new one. It's supposed to be here Monday, but yeah, long, short, gigantic fucking headache because FedEx are goddamn retards.
What this also gives you is interlocking arcs of fire, I believe. What that basically means is where your arc of fire ends, someone else's arc of fire starts, meaning that you can always have two guns firing at the same target.
Oh yeah, definitely. Believe me, I know it's a fucking pain in the dick. I mean, I worked for fucking DHL, but I mean, it's a 60-pound fucking pack. Like, each half is 60 pounds, so yeah, it's heavy. But it has handles built right fucking into it. Like, it's just, such fucking incompetence.
In a forested area or in a woodland area, this is pretty good. In an open field, maybe.
Like, it just makes me, like, it makes me want to find out who the fucking happy half-tard was that decided to just throw my 60-pound fucking half of my desk around. And the best part is, it wasn't even the half that contained the glass and all of that. That's the half that I got that was fine. I mean, it was the box was still a little beat up, but the glass was perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. The part that they fucked up was the chunk that has the 3-foot long sections of wooden fucking desktop. Like, that's what they destroyed, was the actual wooden desktop itself. How do you fuck that up and not the glass? Like, it makes me want to find the dude that fucked it up and, like, go to his house and put my boot through his front door and be like, yeah, well, sorry, my hand was hurting. I didn't feel like taking the time to open your door, so I used my foot instead.
Figure out how much ammunition, etc. you have.
Would this also be would this also be a time to repack magazines?
Absolutely, yeah. But obviously let
Sir,
your buddy know when you're repacking.
Thank you for the follow.
You both do it at the same time. Both weapons are not going to be able to fire, so I think if you repack your mags, let your buddy know.
Pull stables are my mortal enemy. No, I think he means slate is your mortal enemy, because fuck that.
Minutes, depending on how many you got.
Thank you.
Right. Any questions at all?
Negative, Sergeant.
No questions, Sergeant.
Alright. So in a couple minutes we're going to head over to that checkered flag over there. Everyone see over to the northeast.
Affirm.
We're going to go over there and we're going to begin a dry run of a foot patrol. I'll be taking you guys through as your squad leader, along with Private Gates and Private Bollinger. Right. Go ahead and head over now.
Alright, we will head over to the bounding course. Wait for him over here. Can't mute me, god damn it. I should just fuck with them and fucking make myself invisible and go teleport next to AA Ron and start whispering them on TeamSpeak. Dalio, thank you for the follow. Hey, Cree. Yeah, switch from UPS to FedEx, yeah. Yeah, I like DHL. That's who I've always dealt with, and obviously, like I said, I worked for him for a little while, so yeah, I like DHL.
Alpha, this is actual radio check on frequency 100, over.
Yeah, put my fucking earplugs back in.
Actual, this is Alpha. Radio frequency 100. Copy. Lima Charlie. Over.
Roger, that was a fucking weird radio check, Alpha. Alpha, we're gonna be moving.
How the fuck did they get it so perfect on day one and then just forget all of it today?
Yeah. We're gonna be moving at a bearing of 066 northeast in a fire team file.
Welcome back,
jockey
Adams.
pace weapons down.
Yeah, something fucking happened for sure. I went full fucking retard when it came to the goddamn radio checks. Now Selby's stuck walking with his fucking weapon up. There we go. Pep Gun, thank you for the follow. Now Selby's about to fucking crawl up his ass.
What kind of formation do you want to send?
Okay, Alpha, let's go ahead and shift into a fire team wedge, strong left.
Team, fire team, strong left.
Fire team, what? Strong left.
Copy that. Strong team left.
Still trying to figure out what a strong team left formation is.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Maintaining bearing at 066 northeast.
Also running with his weapon up, which is why everybody's fucking running into his ass.
Ensure that you're running at a weapons down pace, otherwise you're going to be moving slower than the rest of everyone. Double tap Charlie. Alpha, go ahead and short halts at this flagpole here.
Copy that. Short halting.
Get his movement unfucked
Short
before
halt.
you continue on.
Flagpole.
Roger that. Roger that. Stand by here.
Oh god, it's that yogi guy.
Alpha, go ahead and set a danger crossing on that road to the northeast. Time now. Over.
Setting the
Still
danger crossing
sick.
here. Time now.
You whiny ass. You gonna fill in tonight, or you gonna be a baby back bitch?
Gates, Muller, I'm gonna do the close side.
Copy.
Roger.
Watching the west.
Copy that. Crossing.
It's set.
Muller set.
Bollinger ready to cross with me. So, far side.
Bollinger set.
Actual, this is Alpha. Danger crossing set.
We give them 2 more guys that can close it in on the far side of the far side and make a goddamn pyramid formation.
Roger that, Alpha. Stand by, one mic.
Copy that.
I don't know, I'm sure someone will need a fucking medic.
Alright, apart from that, that seemed alright to me.
Yeah, you mean aside from Selby just immediately putting his dick in the dirt rather than going with his battle buddy to clear the far side?
Yeah, I actually did spot that. I'm gonna move through and collapse it back in, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Last man. Near team, cross.
Near team crossing.
Team is crossed. Alpha.
Did you not go over last man, or did they forget it in the 35 seconds that it took them to walk here?
Believe the latter.
Roger. I'm gonna refresh my coffee before I get too pissed off.
Roger that, I'll go over it.
Hey, Lilo. Have a good one, bud. Alright, guys, I will be right back. I'm gonna grab myself a fresh cup of coffee before I end up fucking melting somebody's face.
You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
Alright, Alpha, go ahead and set danger crossing on the road to the northeast. Time now. Over.
Muller, Gates. Near side crossing.
Copy, moving. I'm watching the north.
Gates set, watching southeast.
Muller set, watching northeast.
I'll take north.
radio setup.
Copy that. Taking north.
Bollinger set.
Selby set. Actual, this is Alpha. Danger crossing is set.
Roger that, Alpha. Moving through now. No one fucking hear me call last man
we
again.
are back.
Are we good to move?
And the Irishman donated
I
10
hear you
bucks.
now.
Keep up the fine work. Also, go Redmond. Redmond's not here, damn it.
You're so ugly you can be a modern art masterpiece.
Yogi? Why did you donate twice? Or is my stream labels fucking up? Because you donated twice with the exact same message. Don't worry about it. I'll send it back to you.
Muller set.
Selby set. Bollinger gates.
Gates set.
Bollinger set. Alpha, this is
Why the
actual.
fuck is he asking if
Danger
each
crossing
individual
set.
guy is set? Like,
Forward spacing.
yeah.
Alpha, this is actual. Roger that. Moving time now.
Near side you up and cross.
Are you not on yelling, or are they just fucking not moving?
Nah, I'm on yellow.
Bollinger it's us.
Was your medical money? I have no idea what that means, but yeah. I'll deny the payment. I had so much confidence yesterday. I did really well. And now they're trying to shit the bed. Yogi, copay is what you pay when your insurance doesn't cover it. Which I'm sure is a foreign fucking concept to you. See, here, your insurance company will be like, oh, so this doctor's visit
Alright, moving on to the
costs,
bounding course
you
now.
know, $120. Well, we're going to cover 70 of it. You have to pay the rest. Alright, gentlemen. That sure as fuck wasn't pretty, so hopefully this goes better. What you're going to be doing here is a dry run of bounding. Alright. Now, you're going to be using both successive and alternating bounding, which Sergeant Myers went over earlier. Now, bounding can be done with any size element, whether it's buddy teams, fire teams, squads, platoons, whatever. Doesn't matter the size of the element, you can still bound. Now, you guys are going to be bounding in buddy teams. A natural buddy team, our buddy teams in a fire team are the team leader and the automatic rifleman, grenadier, and the rifleman. So that's the way you guys are going to bound, by buddies. You have one buddy team on this left set of walls, one buddy team on the right set of walls. Now, when you bound, one element is going to call set covering. Then the other element will call bounding and move up to the next piece of cover. Once they get there and they're set, and they'll call set covering, and the other element will then call bounding and push up to the next piece of cover. Very simple process. However, and it helps if I'm yelling. However, when you call set covering, right, that means not only are you set behind cover, you are covering the element that is getting ready to maneuver. Okay? It does not mean you're dicking around, bandaging yourself, reloading your weapon, getting set up in a position, whatever. If you say set covering, that means your rifle is pointed downrange and you're ready to engage threats as they present themselves. That understood?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright. So, again, you're going to have one buddy team, team leader in the AR, set up on one wall. Rifleman and the grenadier set up on the other wall. You guys are going to be talking back and forth to each other on TeamNet, letting each other know when one element's set, when the other element is bounding. You know, this is a little bit easier at a fire team level because you're not using multiple nets. At a squad level, the fire team leaders have to communicate between each other when one is set covering, one is bounding. And then that team leader also needs to communicate with his team when they need to be bounding. Okay? So if you were two fire teams instead, and say Selby was the team leader of one and Muller was the team leader of the other, Selby would call set covering, Muller would then call bounding on squad net talking to each other. But that does not mean you would immediately get up and start running, because you haven't said shit to your team yet. Okay, so you call bounding on your squad net, and then you would switch over to your team net and tell them, alright, we're bounding, and then start moving. Alternatively, if you do like what a lot of fucking people do, and tell the other team, alright, we're bounding, and then just start running, and wait until you're fucking halfway out there by yourself before you tell your team we're bounding, you're going to be 20, 30 meters out there ahead of the rest of your team all by your goddamn self. Alright, so that's where echoing those orders and that information really comes into play. Again, you don't have to deal with that today because you're all on one fire team net, but keep that in mind when it comes to maneuver and shit. Not only do you have to relay and coordinate with your other team leader, you have to coordinate and relay information with the rest of your team so you're not leaving them in the dark. Alright, you guys tracking?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright. Selby, get yourself and your buddy set up over on the left wall. Muller, get yourself and your buddy set up over on the right wall. I'll tell you guys to move when I'm ready. Now, there are targets down at the far end of this field. You will not be firing at them. This is a dry run. Alright, you guys are now going to coordinate amongst yourselves which side is going to be moving first, which element. Alright, so whichever element is going to move first, The other element needs to call set covering. Once they call set covering, then the maneuver element can bound. Alright? It is on you guys whenever you're ready.
One moment. Me and Bollinger are set covering.
Copy. Gates and I are bounding. Let's go, Gates. Bounding.
Copy that.
Set covering.
Bollinger, ready to bound? Ready. Let's bound. Moving. I'm set. Muller, we're set. Covering.
Copy. Bounding. Let's move, Gates.
Copy that.
Gates and Muller set covering.
Bollinger, ready to bound? Ready. It's bound. Moving. I'm set. Muller, Bollinger, Selby. Set covering.
Copy. Gates and Muller bounding. Let's go, Gates.
Set. Covering.
Gates and Muller
Copy
are
that.
set and covering.
Bollinger, you ready? Yep. Go.
Stand your happy ass up and run.
Set. We are set.
Copy. Gates and Muller bounding. Bounding. Set.
What up?
Stop fucking looking at him and cover your sector.
That's bound. Bollinger and Selby, set covering.
Copy. Gates and Muller bounding.
I will PT you all until you fucking die!
Set.
Elite, thank
Gates
you
and
for the
Muller
follow.
set and covering.
I will
Copy that.
PT you all
Bollinger,
until
Selby,
you fucking
bounding.
die!
And Space, thank you for the follow.
Set covering.
Alright. And rally up over here in front of me. Alright, remember what we talked about yesterday when it comes to the radios. Brevity. Alright, get the information off as quickly as you can with saying as few words as possible. Alright, so you don't need to say each other's names every time you're set and every time you're bounding. We are is a great fucking pluralization. Use it. We're moving. We're bounding. We're set. We're covering. Alright? When you're moving from cover to cover, fucking run. If you're maneuvering like this, it means you're engaged. It means you're being shot at. You probably want to get to that next piece of cover as quickly as you possibly can. Lastly, I don't give a shit what you are doing. Your responsibility is not to stare over at the fucking dude next to you to see if he's doing his job. Your responsibility is to do your job. Not fucking stare at the other dude's left ass cheek. So if you call set covering, that means you as well are covering. Covering your buddy's fucking ass because you want to see if he's set is not the same. Alright, you have to trust that that dude next to you is going to pick up his sector, and when he says that he's set, he's set. You do not need to fucking visually confirm it. Alright, you guys tracking?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright. I fucking hope so, because now you guys are about to do it for real. We're going to go into the live fire bounding course. Alright? Follow me over here. And walk up to this third flag here and go to the Bounding Overwatch course. Alright, follow me. Hey, we'll see you later, Adams. Alright, so what you guys are going to do is once given the order, you're going to use the tactics and techniques that we have taught you to get yourselves from here to the other end of this course where there's a series of flags. Your goal is to reach those flags by staying within the course limits, but by bounding from cover to cover. Alright, you can use the tools that you have provided to you. So that is your rifles, your smoke, and your radios. Again, this will be live fire. You will be getting shot at, and you will be fucking shooting back, preferably. Now, you guys will be bounding by buddy teams, just like you just did. Alright, so one buddy team will be covering, one buddy team will be bounding. That simple. Alright, any questions before we get started?
Negative for
No,
Sergeant.
for Sergeant.
Alright, stand by for a moment. Alright, Myers, I'm going to drop you in Arsenal so you can grab some medical supplies for these guys.
Roger that.
Alright, Arsenal behind them. Alright, give me a minute to play Barbie and I'll let you know when we're ready.
Roger that, I got them planning.
True. Looks like there's also a good concealed path using the
Sergeant
rocks
Myers.
and the trees to the right.
Alright, let's get our radios set up here. I guess I don't need all of them. I only have the one team, but oh well. Of course I have it to set up 3 radios. Actually, I need to set that for...
I'm hoping 15 epi and 30 morphine's enough.
Probably not.
catch your last transmission.
That would be because my microphone was muted, and I said probably not.
Alright, roger, I'll pick up some more.
Well, you also have to keep in mind, Yogi, it's just me, so it's not going to be as bad as it has been before. Man, damn it. Alright, ready when you are.
Roger. Alright, Alpha. Go ahead and move back to here, we're gonna begin.
Copy that.
Fuck is that sitting out there in the open? You better fucking move.
Alright, let's take the right route. Bollinger.
Oh, hello.
Over here, Gates. I'll show you.
They're being shot at. Please move. Thank you.
What are you doing over there, Muller? You said covering? Alright. Selby's down.
Jesus Christ. Run away!
Moving. Set and covering. Selby, you're being covered. Move.
Why in the fuck did they throw smoke to the right and then move left?
Move it. Alright, let's go. This side over here, Bollinger. Alright, we're setting cover. Stand by.
Are we being set? Are we gonna move again?
Copy.
Moving.
We're set. RPG.
Set and
Yeah,
covering.
confuse the enemy.
Copy that. Smoke out, Bollinger. Let's go.
Coming in.
God, those things fly such a short distance. Yeah, you're not covering, so good thing you didn't call it.
Copy. We're moving.
Mother, where you at?
Set and covering.
We are
Copy
set
that.
and covering up at the cement wall.
Bonzer, you ready to go? Copy that.
Helps if I reload it.
Be advised, I'm going to be monitoring 100.1 for now. If you need medical, let me know on this net. Over.
Solid count, copy that. We are set. Where's he at?
Moving.
Smoke out.
Oh, that would have been fucking
Helps
perfect.
if you wait for the smoke to plume before you move.
We're set and covering.
Copy that. Bonzer, you ready? I'm heading out. Set and covered.
Yeah. Hey, 40 Mike.
We're moving.
Hello? Give me the fucking option to get in the gun. Oh, God damn it. I can't fucking aim down that low.
Set and covering.
Copy that. Bonzer, you want to go to the trees?
Oh, it was close.
Bonzer. You up? Alright, we're set and covering.
Copy you. Stand by. Moving. Disregard last.
What's your status?
Moving.
Selby's down again.
Roger that.
Be advised, my legs are down. I'm back at the cement wall.
You can bandage him yourself.
Moeller moving up.
Oh, fucking Gates is losing connection.
Mother P device looks like Gates is lagging out.
Copy.
Where are
Yes,
you?
go
Moving back over
right
to the
where I
side,
just shot a
yeah.
40 millimeter.
Course it. Guess we're covering fire down. I'm working on Muller here.
I'm looking for him.
Myers and I are set.
He's from the tree, the ridge line.
Right away. Hey, Ron found me.
We are set and covering.
Copy that.
Stop shooting me, you dick. I know that's AA, Ron.
Let's go.
That was a pretty nice one.
If your leg is hit, you need to bandage it.
Yeah, I seen you dropped out, Cope.
Fix him a leg.
We're set and covering.
Fucking drop the goddamn RPG, dickbag.
Patching a hole in my head. Alright, I'm up.
Roger, let's keep on moving. Moving.
Come on.
Copy that.
Set and covering.
Copy that. Volunteer over here. Around the wall. You mean next to that? Never mind, disregard.
Yeah.
I will PT you all until you
At
fucking
flag.
die.
Covering. Mahler status.
Muller's probably knocked out.
Muller's down. Just continue to cover me and Muller.
Copy that.
Wonder if that scared him a little bit.
Keep covering. Alright, we're here.
Yeah, Roger, ceasefire. Index having condition 4.
Ceasefire. Condition for your rifles. Unfuck yourself.
It wasn't horrible. I've seen worse, but their fucking smoke usage was fucking deplorable.
Over. Delby. Delby, did you not manage yourself? You can bandage yourself.
I will do.
Not doing that. Better?
Better. I was out of bandages.
Okay,
Elsewhere.
stand by.
If you're out of bandages, you need to tell someone.
Yeah, you need to let me know, that's really important. Like, I picked up a lot for this, so I can always give you some when we're out there.
Copy.
Medics have tons of bandages. Ask your team if anybody has any bandages.
Alright.
If you run out, let somebody know.
Alright. Whole purpose of this course is to A, get you guys some practice with fire and maneuver communication, and B, to stress you the fuck out so that you make mistakes. You guys made plenty. Alright, your communication was pretty goddamn lackluster throughout most of it. However, the biggest issue was your guys' actual maneuvering. Right, there was pretty much every single time you guys threw smoke and you were fucking moving before the smoke even plumed out. So, it made it pointless to even have the fucking smoke. That's definitely something you need to pay attention to. Alright, if you're throwing smoke to conceal your maneuvering from one position to another, you need to wait for that fucking smoke to plume so it can actually do its job. When it came to actually engaging, you guys didn't do too bad, with the exception of at no point in time did I hear you calling out where you were engaging, what you were engaging, so that other people could potentially fucking help you. Remember to relay that fucking information. Contact reports are huge. More rifles you can get on a target, the better. There was quite a few times you guys got hit, especially by grenades. You gotta keep in mind, when you're moving like that, once someone has your position dialed in, you need to fucking move. Not just sit there and try and get in a gunfight. Alright? You need to keep moving. If you're stagnant, you're dead. Right? If the enemy is accurately engaging your position, they know where the fuck you're at. You need to move to a new position. Sergeant Myers, anything you would like to point out as actual?
Thank you, First Sergeant. You went over most of it. Biggest is smoke plume, like just throwing a smoke and then running. The smoke's doing fuck all there. It's just beginning to plume. It's not going to give you guys any concealment.
No, I wasn't being accurate with that
fire,
ATGM.
So when you say you're set and covering, what that means is that you are able to get a gun down range, not that you are just
I
in
wasn't
your fucking
trying to be accurate with it.
Like, if you're set and covering, actually make sure you are covering. So, take a corner, go high, go low, don't give a shit, but get into a position where you can be returning fire from where we are being fired from. In this course, you know, it's only coming from the north up there. It's only coming from one place, so you guys don't really need to worry about any other sectors. So, it's a lot easier. That was really it for me, First Sergeant.
Alright, last thing I want to point out is right when you guys started, I don't know who the fuck was over on the left side of the starting area there, but I dumped pretty much an entire fucking magazine in your direction before I actually started hitting you. And that, it took way too goddamn long for you to even A, realize you were being shot at, and B, to get behind cover, because you didn't even get behind cover. You ended up getting dropped. When you get shot at, your immediate reaction needs to be either A, get behind cover, or B, if there is no cover, put your dick in the dirt and move yourself to cover, or concealment if available. Private Bollinger.
Disregard, First Sergeant.
Roger. Alright. Any questions from the two of you?
Negative, First Sergeant.
I have a question for Sergeant.
I don't have a private eye anywhere in this class, so... That means use your fucking name, Selby.
Yes, this is Selby. Pardon me. First Sergeant Burger. When the tracers are coming at us in this course, do we... how long does it take for the smoke to effectively conceal our position? So, essentially, how many seconds should we count before we start to bound forward?
Good rule of thumb is probably going to be 5 to 10 seconds, but the best rule of thumb is going to be use your fucking eyeballs and see if it's plumed.
Thank you, First Sergeant. I didn't know if they had changed it with the latest DLC.
No, the only thing the latest update did, yeah, and Bollinger will throw one out there for you. The only thing the update did was it kind of foobarred our smoke in the sense that it now reaches the particle limit sooner So the modified smoke that we use from the base game, as you can see, looks real big, and then all of a sudden a bunch of it will disappear. For the AI, it doesn't mean anything when it disappears. They are still technically seeing all of those particles, so it's still plumed up real big, even though you're not necessarily seeing it. They still have to deal with the particles. So, again, just wait 5-10 seconds for it to plume, and then get your ass moving. Alright?
Yes, First Sergeant. Thank you.
Alright. Any other questions?
Negative, First Sergeant.
Alright. Then that is going to be the end for today. Alright, we'll get back at it next weekend for days 3 and 4. There's probably going to be a couple more guys in here next weekend due to guys transferring out of Class Bravo to come in here to finish up next weekend. That being said, make sure you're here on time. If you don't know what on time means, it means you're 15 minutes early. Alright? So make sure you're here on time next Saturday, ready to go for day 3, and then we'll have day 4 after that. Alright? That's it for today. You guys are dismissed. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. Alright, guys. That is going to be it for today. And, Botor, thank you for the follow. So yeah, make sure to come back by here in right about 5 hours for Task Force Bravo, where I will be filling in tonight, and hopefully I will see you guys then. Later.